China's economy contracted in the first quarter this year and is expected to bounce back strongly in 2020. And vital to this are businesses. Today I've come to talk to the people who run one of Beijing's popular food restaurants to hear their story on how they're recovering in the midst of COVID-19. As dust settled slowly but gradually from COVID-19, well, at least in China, restaurant businesses like QMax in Beijing have taken a hard hit.
My name is Dennis Akaolu from Germany. I'm one of the co-owners in QMax and I run the daily operations.
Lauren Heinold, I'm from the US. I'm also a co-owner, partners with this guy, and I handle finances and strategy.
So obviously my first question is, what's been the impact of COVID-19 on your business?
Still the 23rd, I was still sitting in a restaurant actually, and life looked to be very normal, but like the 24th, everything changed. Like we found ourselves in empty restaurants basically.
Sales went down 80%, 75%, immediately starting on the 24th and continuing through the first part of February. It wasn't until mid-February they started to inch up a little bit.
Yeah.
QMax has 4 branches in Beijing, and the Mexican restaurant chain is part of Beijing's race back to normality as the local food and beverage industry starts to pick up again. But the sudden shock of COVID-19 has caught lots of businesses blindsided.
Sure, we had to create plans, we had to create ways to be able to cover all the costs that we were facing, and everybody from management to restaurant employees were ready to take a 30% salary cut as well.
The government's policies about delaying Social Security payments. I was talking with landlords about rent reductions, rent delays. It was talking with our suppliers about the payment terms and working with them on those kind of things, and cut where we could while not cutting people.
QMax is a medium-sized business that employs around 140 people, including management. For them, keeping employment numbers intact as well as managing their costs became their focal point. What kind of help did you guys get from the government in terms of, during this time? Because the government talks about, they're putting businesses at the forefront of China's economic growth. So they say they're helping businesses, but, what is that in real terms?
For the 4 different restaurants, they're all different landlords, and the Beijing government pretty early on said that there'd be a policy of state-owned companies who are landlords would be giving breaks. So we worked with the Chaoyang district government, and they helped us connect us to some banks that were providing loans, not grants or subsidies, but they worked with us pretty well, just on going fairly quickly through that process and getting some loans to help get us through the short term.
Despite losing a third of their employees and an 80% reduction in customers, they decided to stay open despite the uncertainty.
One aspect of it was us trying to put in place all the measures to keep our employees and keep customers safe as the number one thing. So if we kept things clean, we wanted to make sure they understand and felt safe coming in. So that was social media posts, that was signs on the door. It's like for our delivery orders when they went out, we created a special little label there that the cook that was responsible for putting together the order, the person that handled the order before it went out, and our staff, and the delivery guy all had their temperature taken. We actually wrote down their name and their temperature, 3 different people, and that got stuck on every single order that went out, just as something to let customers know that we took this seriously and we're taking their safety seriously.
As demand has slowly climbed up in the last few months, they are now operating at a 70 to 80% capacity. But is Beijing an isolated case in China, where businesses are returning to normality? According to the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology, small and medium-sized companies in China resumed work at a rate of about 87% in May this year, and this might just be the new normal. What do you guys think about the business environment in China during this time?
Actually, we feel very happy to be able to be in China right now. I mean, we are perhaps in the only country in the world right now where you can sit outside, have drinks with friends without being scared or having any problems or any worries about that.
It was a really interesting shift. I mean, at the beginning, we were the ones taking the major blow, and the rest of the world was looking at us, and then we kind of went through that first. We paid our dues, and then are kind of coming out of that, and a lot of places are not. So I think, yeah, we're pretty lucky to be where we are right now.
Meanwhile, as experts predict, a rapid recovery for China's economy domestically now will depend on driving consumption upwards, which accounts for 60% of China's GDP, and driving businesses are key to this. But not all businesses are like QMAX, specifically in the food services industry. Some still are not sure of how much long they can be around, because their much needed demand now depends on when the virus clears and when consumers unleash their pent-up demand for shopping and eating out. Josh, stay tuned with China Matters.